Welcome back to the Jewels and Times YouTube channel. In today's episode, we'll discuss one of the most talked about releases in recent times, Ridley Scott's Napoleon. As always, our focus will be on the dazzling aspects of the movie, the jewelry and the overall style showcased throughout. Our main focus will be on Napoleon's great love, Josephine de Bourgogne. She was a trendsetter of her time and had a deep love for jewelry. A quick disclaimer. Our discussion isn't centered on verifying the historical accuracy of the jewelry depicted in the film. Instead, our goal is to explore the jewelry trends of the Napoleonic era and shed light on the real jewels that were in Empress Josephine's collection. Let's start this exploration together. First, let's establish that Napoleon's time was a period in fashion history known as the Neoclassical fashion era, spanning from the end of the 18th century to the beginning of the 19th century. Neoclassicism marked a significant shift in style profoundly influenced by classical antiquity. This period in fashion saw a distinct departure from the elaborate and often cumbersome styles of the earlier part of the 18th century. A hallmark of neoclassical fashion was its simplicity. Garments featured clean lines and were often made from lightweight fabrics like muslin or silk. This created a silhouette that was slim and elongated. The French Revolution played a pivotal role in cementing neoclassical fashion. It called for equality and rejection of aristocratic excesses reflected in the simpler, more natural fashion. Women's dresses typically showcased empire waistlines sitting just below the bust, often complemented with delicate ribbons or sachets. And as we see a lot in the movie, the center of the waistline was often decorated with beautiful brooches. Josephine popularized the empire style of dress. The color scheme in neoclassical fashion leaned towards soft, muted tones. Whites, pastels, and earthy shades were prevalent, embodying a sense of purity and simplicity. With this color scheme, it is no surprise that pearls were very popular. Women's hairstyles were inspired by classical antiquity, ranging from short, tousled looks to ringlets and curls arranged with ribbons and jeweled combs. Headbands were quite popular. Wearing two headbands at the same time was also a thing, making women's hats resemble a layered cake. Jewelry during this period was understated, often featuring classical motifs such as cameos and intaglios. The 19th century was a period of huge industrial and social change, but in jewelry design, the focus was often on the past. In the first decades, classical styles were popular, evoking the glories of ancient Greece and Rome. Goldsmiths attempted to revive ancient techniques and made jewelry that imitated archaeological jewelry. The necklines of dresses, both for day and evening wear, were typically low and either square or V-neck. The deep necklines allowed plenty of space for necklaces and chokers. Of course, when it comes to Josephine, the Empress, the great love of Napoleon, the simplicity of neoclassicism that valued comfort and natural beauty over opulence and excess didn't really apply. It is known that Josephine liked her jewelry very much, and Napoleon gave her plenty. In the movie, we see a variety. Sometimes she wears big and detailed sets, other times simple pearl earrings and tiny chokers. Now let's take a detailed look at what jewels Josephine and other characters wore in the movie. And while we do that, let's try to spot some trends. Maybe some of you antique jewelry enthusiasts will even note down some styling tips for your own jewelry collection. The first time that we see Josephine on screen, she wears a short haircut and no accessories but a tiny ribbon choker. Do not be shocked by the short hair. Such hairstyles actually came into fashion after the Revolution. Perhaps the movie makers wanted to make a point that Josephine was a true fashionista even before she got together with Napoleon. So here we see her demonstrating the so-called guillotine chic. The ribbon on her neck was an imitation of the mark left by a guillotine blade, a little rebellious detail that is in fact quite a statement. Later on, in the scene where Napoleon visits Josephine at her house, she wears a choker again, a chunkier velvet ribbon with a bow and a graceful cameo. It looks like we can already establish two jewelry trends, chokers and cameos. Back to that look. As you can see, Miss J is wearing elegant pearl earrings. Now make a note. Pearls were extremely popular in that era. Just like many precious stones that came from Asian countries, pearls were also imported to Europe from places like India and Sri Lanka and the pearl fisheries of Iran and other Arab communities of the Persian Gulf. We'll see these earrings further on in the movie. One thing that is an obstacle here, though, is hair, because it shields the earrings every time. But if you look closer, you'll see that Josephine's drop earrings have quite big pearls, and they go very well with her light-colored dresses. And I forgot to wear my earrings, so I'm gonna fix it right now. Now, that's much better. Now let's move on to the next interesting detail. A brooch on her dress in the middle of the bust. If we look at the paintings of that time, the brooches were usually worn in the middle of the waistline. In this scene, I assume the brooch is placed here to accentuate Josephine's deep neckline. What can I say? Deep neckline sells. Let's point out two more jewelry trends: pearls and brooches. Moving on to the next scene, right after Napoleon and Josephine get married. Here, Josephine is wearing a parure with big yellow stones, which is interesting to us because we know that Jo owned many parures. Napoleon showered her with exquisite gifts. Among her famous jewelry sets were sapphire parures. Some previously belonged to Marie Antoinette, emerald parures, and many other sets with colorful stones. So the next trend is definitely parures, aka jewelry sets with big stones. I am personally a little sad that we don't see emeralds, blue sapphires, and amethysts in the movie. These stones were set in some of her most exquisite and spectacular tiaras. Let's take a look at those. The royal family of Norway now owns an emerald tiara that was once Josephine's. Look at Sonia, the Queen of Norway, rocking the emerald parure, tiara, earrings, necklace, and brooch. Princess Victoria of Sweden wears Josephine's amethyst jewels. Looking at the beauty of this tiara, it is no surprise that purple is a color of royals. And of course, who wouldn't want to see one of her famous sapphire sets on screen? But when it comes to movie making, every little thing about the scene is important, including the colors. So here, in the dim, warm light of a party, the actress is wearing yellow stones because it simply fits the color scheme of the scene. The same goes for this ruby parure that she wears in the scene of meeting Napoleon's mother. Red rubies match her red dress, and the red color probably symbolizing her strong character here, by showing her husband's mother, who's the matriarch now. This is just good cinematography, you guys. Speaking of Napoleon's mother, she also wears nice jewelry in the movie. Her pearl necklace in this scene is to die for. Although, to be honest, I would expect to see a necklace like this on Josephine because we know she owns similar necklaces with many dangling pearls. But then again, in this scene, Napoleon's mother's white jewelry creates a contrast with Josephine's bright red colors. The next scene I want to discuss is where Napoleon and Josephine go outside to greet the people of France. You can barely see what she's wearing, but there's a crucial detail. She's wearing a cameo tiara. We know that Josephine owned several cameo headpieces, and all of them were absolutely unique. This diadem, for example, made of gold, cameos, and enamel, was auctioned at Sotheby's in 2021. The carnelian cameos would have been made in Italy and later incorporated into a diadem. The other great example is a cameo tiara with pearls that nowadays belongs to the royal family of Sweden. Princess Victoria of Sweden wore it on her wedding day. Interestingly enough, it looks quite modern when combined with a modern hairstyle. The next scene is also very important. the Coronation of Napoleon and Josephine as Emperor and Empress. The scene closely recreated the famous painting by Jacques-Louis David, The Coronation of Napoleon. Here, Josephine wears an array of diamonds, chunky gemstones in her necklace, and a tiara of intricate design underscore her status as a highly influential queen. Napoleon presented Josephine with the tiara before the coronation. This stunning piece was decorated with more than 1,000 diamonds, a testament to the craftsmanship of the talented French jeweler Marie-Etienne Moutot, founder of the Chaumet jewelry house. Have you seen Napoleon? What did you think about the portrayal of jewelry and style in the movie? Please don't hesitate to share your insights in the comments below. Your opinions make our community a vibrant space for all things jewelry and history. Now let's shift our focus to Napoleon. At his coronation, he donned a laurel crown, a symbol of Roman imperial power, crafted from gold. Napoleon also wielded a coronation sword adorned with a 140-carat diamond known as the Regent, crafted by Moutot. If you're interested in learning more about the sword and the jeweler Marie-Etienne Moutot, be sure to watch our video about the Chaumet jewelry house. We'll place the link below. What I particularly admired about the coronation scene is the portrayal of other characters who participated in the ceremony, positioned exactly as they were in the famous painting. Here, for instance, you can see Napoleon's three sisters and Josephine's daughter or tante, all dressed in opulent fashion. Notice their jewelry, large parures, pearls and brooches below the bust, just as I mentioned earlier. Let's explore more jewelry from the movie. I am particularly fond of an oval brooch placed where Josephine's dress is cinched below the bust. This brooch appears several times. Given that it is featured in scenes where Josephine is guilted and shamed for her frivolous behavior, it could be interpreted as a symbol of restriction. Another notable brooch is worn by Napoleon's mother. The combination of jewelry she wears is, in my opinion, tasteless. A huge brooch alongside a prominent cameo necklace is simply too much, especially since her dress doesn't have an open décolleté. In other scenes, she is seen wearing two pearl bracelets, one on each hand. Interestingly, Josephine is depicted doing the same, not only with pearl bracelets, but with other styles as well. Coincidence? I think not. It is clearly a trend. I'd like to point out that Josephine's chokers are my personal favorites in the movie, likely because they easily integrate into modern fashion. As you can see, I myself am quite fond of wearing chokers. The most striking choker is seen on Josephine in the scene where she divorces Napoleon. I would love to examine it more closely. The design is atypical. Instead of a ribbon, it's a tight metal necklace. I believe it's no coincidence that the costume designers chose a metal choker for this scene. The divorce metaphorically choked her, marking the end of a significant chapter of her life. And I dare say the light yellow stones, particularly in her drop earrings, poignantly match her tears. Honestly, we could discuss and analyze this movie indefinitely. Despite various controversial and critical opinions, I found Napoleon visually very pleasant. It is intriguing and elaborately detailed. Before we conclude, let's repeat the trends we found. Chokers, cameos, pearls, brooches, especially on the waistline, parures, aka jewelry sets, bracelets on both hands. In real life, much of Josephine's jewelry was passed down to her daughter and other family members. Some pieces went to Napoleon's second wife. Many items have been lost, while others have ended up in museums or in the possession of royal families across Europe. In conclusion, Ridley Scott's Napoleon is not only a cinematic journey through a pivotal historical period, but also a visual feast, particularly for those with an eye for period-appropriate jewelry and fashion. Josephine, as depicted, serves as a central figure in showcasing the era's trends. balancing the simplicity of neoclassical fashion with her penchant for extravagant jewelry. That's all on the topic, my dear friends. If you consider yourself a jewelry enthusiast and are particularly fond of antique and vintage jewelry, do visit our website with numerous beautiful pieces at jewelsandtimes.com. And do not forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more jewelry content. See you next time!